Hey you guys, okay, so we're going to take some notes. We're going to do another difficult skill today, and that is verbals. The kids always joke about that they don't really sound like real words. So verbals, there are three of them, and it's basically verbs that are being used in different ways, which is why this is one of those examples of why you can't come up to me and say, what is run? Well, it depends on how it's being used in the sentence, because it's not always a verb. So, verbals are verbs being used as different parts of speech in the sentence. So that's why we do like the mentor sentence and things like that, so that you guys can learn to look at how words are used in a sentence, so that you can learn to change your sentence structure around. Because one of the things that's really good for you to start sentences with is the verbal of participles. So participial phrases are really great to start sentences with because it varies that sentence opening. If you don't know what a participle is, then you can't start with a participial phrase. So once again, this is why I teach the grammar, so that we can talk about sentences. So you only need one foldable, looks like this. Once you have your table of contents filled out and your 2-page spread filled out, come on back. Okay, so you should have the 2 pages filled out. I definitely want you to leave some space. So you guys are going to tape this down. So let's get this cut real fast. Okay, you guys should have this taped down. Leave some space up here for definitions. Then you can put some examples over here. You are going to actually take notes from a PowerPoint today. So you guys can make a decision on where you're wanting to put things, okay? So as long as you have that taped in, we have 3 kinds of verbals. We have gerunds, infinitives, and participles, okay? So we're going to go over these. The PowerPoint might be in a different order than the foldable, so just giving you that heads up. Okay, guys, verbals. Verbals are very confusing. They are definitely an 8th grade skill. I do start them in 7th grade just to give you an extra year of practicing them. So you'll notice that on your game board, 7th grade, your standards are actually the 8th grade ones. And then 8th graders, you'll notice that your regular standard is the 9th grade ones, because if you have me in 7th grade, you will have already done the 8th grade ones. So we move it up. So you can't even go on to IXL and find these at the 7th grade level, but I do feel like that extra year helps a little bit. So what are verbals? Sometimes we have words which are formed from verbs but don't act as verbs. They function as nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. Such words are called verbals. There are 3 types of verbals: gerunds, participles, and infinitives. So we're going to start with gerunds. Okay? A gerund is a verbal ending in ing that functions as a noun. Gerunds, out of all of well, no, I shouldn't say that. This is the second easiest because they always end in ing and they always function as a noun. Okay? So that's one of the reasons why gerunds are a little bit easier. Participles are a little bit more difficult, but gerunds are nice and easy. Ing, function as a noun. So he loves running. Okay? This is being used as a direct object. So the main verb in the sentence is loves. Loves what? Running. That is being used as a direct object, which is a noun. Okay? So skiing is her favorite sport. Is my verb. What is her favorite sport? Skiing. Okay? Oops. Okay, so this is our subject of our sentence, which is a noun. Okay? Gerunds always end in ing, which is what makes them a little bit easier. Walking is good for you. Once again, walking is our subject of our sentence. What is good for you? Walking. He loves singing. Loves what? Singing. So that is a direct object. I was arrested for speeding. For speeding is a prepositional phrase, so this is an object of a preposition. Be careful. Not all words ending in ing are automatically gerunds. They could be participles, but we'll learn that later. So you have to make sure that they are being used as a noun. Okay? She loves singing. You can place the word with another noun and it would still make grammatical sense. She loves rock music. Okay? She loves pancakes. Okay? Tables. She loves tables. So, gerunds are formed from verbs. They end in ing and they function as nouns. I want you to now be careful. Not all ing words are gerunds. Okay? So, Here's the passage. I want you to identify the gerunds. As Toby loves cooking, he has decided to make dinner for his family. However, to choose what to make is tricky. His family loves his cooking, and eating is a favorite pastime. But Toby's siblings are extremely fussy. Knowing this, he has decided to make something simple. Okay, so take a minute, figure out which ones are the gerunds. Here they are. Okay, now, cooking, cooking, and eating. Those are the only gerunds. So let's look. Knowing this is actually being used as a participle. So that's a participle. Something is not an actual ing word, just to let you guys know. But cooking here, loves what? Cooking. His family loves, it should be say loves, loves his cooking. Loves what? Cooking. And eating. Okay, so those are both like direct objects and things like that. Okay, this is not a gerund. It is not used as a noun. Okay, next is participles. Okay, participles are more difficult. Okay, participles function as an adjective, which is an easy part. Okay, so it only has one function. For example, the burning building crumbled slowly. Which building? The burning building. Okay, here burning is functioning as an adjective. It describes the building. Okay, but there are two types of participles, present participles and past participles. Okay, so here's where it gets tricky. Present participles end in ing. Past participles can end in ed, end, t, and n. So that's where they get tricky because it's not just one kind of an ending. Okay, so here's present participles. The crying baby belonged to her. Which baby? The crying one. The girl sitting in the corner is my sister. Which girl? The one sitting in the corner. Okay. We were entertained by dancing children. Which children? Dancing children. Okay, so for past participles, the exhausted students slept. Which students? The exhausted ones. The broken window was fixed. Which window? The broken window. We ate the cooked meal. Which meal? The cooked meal. Okay. So these all look like verbs, but they're not being used as verbs. They're being used as adjectives. Okay. He held his crying child. Crying is being used to describe the child. Sitting in the front row, the girl listened carefully. Okay. Sitting in the front row is a participial phrase, and it describes the girl, which is the noun. Sitting is functioning as an adjective. Okay, so watching the news, Jack was saddened. Children interested in studying will succeed. I saw the teacher strolling down the hall. You guys notice if you start a sentence with a participle, what do you need? These are both participial phrases. Watching the news, shaken by the news. What do they put here? Oh, look, it needs a comma. Are participles always adjectives? No. When used with auxiliary verbs, to be, to have, they form multi-part verbs. I am singing. So here's our auxiliary verb, and then here's our present participle. So there are two types of participles, present and past. Present participles always end with ing. Past participles have various endings, and participles are verbals that function as adjectives. Okay, let's see. She saw the girl standing alone in the corner. Which girl? The one standing alone. I was cooking when the howling wind picked up. Okay. Howling is describing the wind. This one is with was cooking. So this is a participle being used with a verb. Okay. The folded letter lay on the folding table. There's two. Which letter? The folded letter. Which table? The folding table. Burned and hard, the pizza was inedible. Burned is describing the pizza. Singing while she worked, Susan was content. Singing is describing Susan. Okay, last one. Infinitives are actually the easiest, and we've talked about infinitives. So an infinitive is a verbal that can function as an adjective, noun, or adverb. Okay? The infinitive is formed by placing the word to in front of the present simple form of the verb. To run, to play, to comprehend, to sing, to believe. She loves to bake. She loves what? to bake. It's being used as a noun because it's a direct object. Bring a book to read in class. Okay, so this is what book? What kind of book? It's one to read. So it's describing the book. He went to ask the teacher. Where did he go? To ask. Okay, so that's how it's being used as an adverb. This is what makes infinitives tricky. They're easy to identify, but you trying to figure out what their function is a little bit more difficult because they can be used as a noun, a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. Okay, infinitives are formed by adding to before the simple present form of the verb, and they function as nouns, adjectives, or adverbs. He sounded his horn to warn them. Okay, modifies the verb sounded. So what was sounded, or why was it sounded? To warn. So it's an adverb. All of them wanted to go. Okay, what did they wanted? What? To go. So that's a direct object. He gave them chocolate to eat. Describes the chocolate. Which chocolate? The chocolate to eat. Okay. Verbals are formed from verbs, but function as other parts of speech. 3 types: gerunds, participles, and infinitives. Okay? So hopefully you got some notes taken in your ISN over verbals. Okay? These are difficult just because they look like verbs, but they're not being used as verbs. So that's one of the reasons why we do mentor sentences and things like that. The big thing I want you guys to learn is that, especially those participles, to use them at the beginning of sentences. So using those ing words, those ed words and stuff at the beginning so that you give your sentences more variety. Now that you have these notes done, when we come to class tomorrow, we're going to be working on IXL. Now this is 3 IXLs. We have one for gerunds, one for participles, and one for infinitives. So if you wanted to get at least one of them done tonight, go for it.